Brothers and sisters in Christ, we have just heard about the calling of the prophet Jeremiah, about St. Paul teaching about true love, and about Jesus' declaration of his messianic calling. So today's scriptures, to me, therefore speak of discernment, a sincere searching for the will of God. This discernment can be personal or communal. For example, I can pray like this: God, now that the number of priests in Singapore is declining, what do you wish me to do? Not only me, it would be you also, pray the same prayer. Or maybe it is the Sacred Heart community in Singapore praying like this: God, we have been serving your people in Singapore for many years. What do you want us to do next? Do you want us to serve your people in China as well? You see, brothers and sisters, discernment is a calling, and it's always in relation to a certain need in a society. Another term for discernment is to see the signs of the times. It is therefore crucial for Christians like us to learn to read the signs of our times. What kind of society are we a part of? Some say it is a global society, because nowadays no more is the country so isolated from what is going on around it. The whole world is functioning more and more like a human body. If one part is hurting, the whole body is suffering. The current economic recession worldwide is an actual example of this. But there is another phenomenon that is becoming commonplace in the world, namely the degradation of respect towards human life. Now, some of us may have heard from our great-great-grandparents about prearranged marriage, and we may think that this prearranged marriage is a custom of the past. Not so. I recently read in the newspaper about what is happening in China. Meng Meng, who was born in China, was only 1 month old when his parents started hunting for a bride for him. Why? Because experts estimate that China's growing gender gap will leave 24 million young men with no wives by the year 2020. That's only 10 years from now. Because there will be a shortage of females in the country. Baby girls, the reason is baby girls are being aborted. There is something even worse that I received through an email recently, happening in the same country. In China, they are not wasting these aborted babies. They are made into an elixir or aphrodisiac soup. I could not believe my eyes to see the real photos. It was sent to me, I thought it was only writing. They are photos. That is outright cannibalism. Whatever is happening to the value of human life. Brothers and sisters, in a godly society, anything goes. There is no more meaning in life. There is no more conscience in the heart, let alone love. No vision, no direction in life, and therefore no hope in the afterlife. As Christians, we need to answer these signs of our time. It may seem overwhelming for us to handle, but this is the moment when we are forced to see what Jesus has pointed out to his disciples. When the disciples asked him, in this case, who can be saved? Jesus answered, things that are impossible by human resources are possible for God. Now Jesus has given us the way. We only need to use it. Don't rely on ourselves in this case. Rely on God. St. Paul clearly spelled out what we need to hold as our treasure. He said, if I give everything I had to the poor, and even give up my body to be burned, if I am without love, it would be of no value to me. What an eloquent way of putting the primacy of love in our lives. Why? Because God is love. And that is why our present Pope chose it as the title of his first encyclical, Deus Caritas Est, meaning God is love. Now allow me to elaborate a bit by asking you an intriguing question. I'm sure you have heard or know what generosity means. Also, what charity means. Question is there a difference between charity and generosity? Have you ever thought it? The answer is yes. It may be a hair-splitting difference, but there is a difference. The late Monsignor Giussani, a good friend of Pope Benedict XVI, made a distinction between generosity and charity. The difference lies in the motivation. He said, generosity begins with you, an impetus that originates in you. Its whole reason for being is to express something in you. We can detect generosity when we hear something like this. I helped at the soup kitchen, and this morning I gave $50 to the beggar, and I felt good afterwards. The reason for me doing is for me to feel good. By contrast, the charity, a word rooted in the Latin word caritas, the act of love, arises outside of you, from a presence outside of you, and being moved by that presence. While this sounds good, even easy, we often initially resist that love, what that love demands. It means doing something I may find inconvenient, even difficult. And a good example of this is Jesus' death on the cross. A sacrifice of love that we continue to celebrate in the Eucharist. Remember what happened in the garden when Jesus was praying. He prayed, God, Father, if possible, let this cup pass away from me. He didn't want to do it, but he did it because of his faithfulness to the Father. That was charity, not generosity. Charity goes one step further where generosity will stop. Pope Benedict in his book, Deus Caritas Est, tells why motivation matters. Why love, caritas, charity matters more than anything else. And I will say it in a different way. That the way we do things tell more about our motivation than what we do. The Pope wrote this. Seeing with the eyes of Christ, I can give to others more than their outward necessities. I can give them the look of love which they crave. And I will give you an illustration for this from my own personal experience.